Todd Howard sat down and had an interview with IGN where he spoke about Fallout 76. I'll leave a link down below to the full article and the video. It is worth going and watching it. You should probably do that before you listen to me. It's not that long. It's only about 8 minutes. And it is purely about Fallout 76. And there's nothing in there that's really major, nothing really surprising, but there were a few things that he said that sort of got under my skin a little. For example, he said this.
You know that a lot of people might say that's not the game we want from you, but we still want to be somebody who's trying new things.
And the problem I have with this is that even though they knew their existing fan base was probably not expecting this game and many of them were not going to want it, they teased the game to that fan base without making it absolutely crystal clear that this was going to be a very different thing. They didn't lie. They didn't say, oh no, this is going to be the exact same experience you got in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas. It's going to be a typical Fallout experience. Well, actually, they sort of did. They did say, no, it is a Fallout game. It's a real Fallout game. And technically, they're not lying. But they had to have known, and I think they did, that their fan base contained a lot of people who wouldn't consider this to be a true Fallout game. So they're using semantics. They're trying to hype it at the E3 to a crowd who are probably not hyped for this sort of game. Some of them would be, but a lot of them wouldn't be. And the reason this annoys me is, had they not done this, I believe Fallout 76 would have had a better time of it. Not a good time because of the other problems, but at least a better time. Don't hype a game to an existing fan base if that game is not going to scratch the urge that fan base have come to get scratched. Terrible metaphor, but you get the idea. When you start teasing Fallout stuff on your live stream with a 24-hour live stream, you are going to get the Fallout fans all just completely hyped. Which is exactly what happened. Is it going to be Fallout 3 remastered? Is it going to be New Vegas 2? Oh my god, this is going to be incredible. You hyped the wrong people the wrong way. If you knew this game was going to be different, if you knew it was going to disappoint a lot of those people, disappoint them quickly. Do it before they even get hyped. Don't even tease another Fallout game if you know that Fallout game is going to disappoint more people than it excites. Disappointment is one of the worst things a PR department can have to battle. It really is just a no-no in PR marketing terms. Never, ever disappoint. You're better off playing down expectations and overachieving than going the other way. Trust me on this. Hype is great as long as what you deliver lives up to the hype. And slowly but surely, the hype for a lot of people slowly began to turn into dread. Even in the lead up to the E3, after that initial live stream and the trailer where people began to suspect the game was not going to be the single player RPG or an RPG of any sort really. When people began to suspect this was going to be a multiplayer game and everyone was talking about how it was going to be Rust with a Fallout skin on top, people were still not sure. People still had some hope that it was going to be more of the sort of game they had come to expect from Bethesda.
This is not the type of game that people are used to from us, and we're going to get some criticism on it.
Neither was Fallout Shelter, but nobody was angry about that. You know why? Because you'd also given us Fallout 4 at the exact same time. We were not disappointed. You'd given us the game we wanted and then, as an addition, gave us something we hadn't even thought of. Many people didn't even try it, many people did, but it was something extra. But the most important part about what I just said was we were not disappointed when you announced Fallout Shelter. We'd got what we wanted. Fallout Shelter was something extra.
But we felt strongly this is a game we want to play. This is something we really want to do.
Yeah, and if you'd come out and said that in advance, I think the fan base would have actually been quite forgiving of that. If you'd come out way before this game was ready to be released and say, look, we're working on something else. It's something we've really, really got under our skin and we want to make it. It's going to be different. It is going to be an online multiplayer game. It's Fallout, but it's not like a Fallout single-player RPG. It's going to be, and then describe it. Describe what it is and get feedback in advance while you're developing it. I know Bethesda like to be secretive and then reveal the big reveal in a sort of massive hype train explosion, but that only works if the people you are doing the big reveal for are ready for that reveal. You knew that this was a game a lot of your existing fan base was not going to like. In fact, they were not just not going to like it, they were probably going to resent the fact that you had been working on this and not the next game that they would like. You are known for single-player open-world RPGs, and whatever you release that's not a single-player open-world RPG is almost certainly going to disappoint a lot of your existing fan base. You knew this. You knew this, and yet you teased another Fallout game, knowing that inevitably the fan base would start wondering if it was another single-player RPG Fallout. That is absolutely, unavoidable. There can be nobody out there who thinks Bethesda Game Studios tweeting out or putting on Twitch some teaser for 24 hours, all Fallout themed, was not going to rile up the existing fan base to speculate about the sort of games they wanted to see. And the only reason for doing that, knowing full well that they were not getting what they were hoping for, the only reason for doing it is this vague hope that those people would get so hyped for one type of Fallout game that they would just stay on board the hype train once they realised it was not going where they thought it was going. And that is a completely, it's a stupid plan. That is akin to letting your kids think they're going to Disneyland. They're on a train, totally excited about going somewhere, and they think it's Disneyland, but they finally get there and it's a museum for, shoelace manufacturing or something. Right? I mean, maybe the Shoelace Manufacturing Museum is a vaguely interesting place to be. Maybe. But I guarantee your kids are going to be a little peeved, more than a little disappointed, and they're probably going to voice that disappointment. But unlike your kids, the fan base that are currently on your hype train are not captives. That's a terrible way to describe kids, but you know what I'm saying. They don't have to enter the museum you've taken them to. So you've taken them on a hype train tour to somewhere they didn't want to go. They don't have to go there, and what's probably going to happen next is they're going to set fire to the train, set fire to the station, and possibly occasionally try to set fire to the museum as well, just because why the hell not, we're already here. That is just what's going to happen. You had to know this. I mean, I often get accused of being very naive for not understanding that companies like Bethesda just want money. They're just in it for the money. I know they're in it for the money. This was a terrible plan to make money. If you know you're not going to deliver what a lot of the fan base want, let them know well in advance of any hype build-up. Don't build up the hype and then tell them what you're actually providing. Tell them, just say, look, I know you're all waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 and maybe Starfield, and maybe some of you are looking forward to Fallout 5. But we're not making that. We're doing something completely different. We know a lot of you are not going to like this. Bear with it. Bear with us. This is something we really want to make. We're really driven to make it. And hopefully you'll try it out with us. But if you don't, if it's not your thing, we totally understand. We are going to be making The Elder Scrolls 6 soon, honest, and then move forward. Then start hyping this new game. And the people who get on the hype train will know they're on the right hype train, and everyone else can say, well, thanks for at least telling us. They might not be happy that they're not getting The Elder Scrolls 6, but at least they're not going to be enraged that they thought they were getting something that they didn't.